How's it going, people? Salmon Slappy here, and this is your Daemonheim Easy Task Set Guide. This will be every single task in the Easy Set, all done in one long-ass run. So, let's get started. Quest requirements? None. Skill requirements, you need 30 attack, 30 range, 30 magic, 23 dungeoneering, 10 divination, 7 smithing, or 8 crafting. Item-wise, you don't actually need anything whatsoever, other than your Daemonheim ring. So, as soon as you're ready, come down towards the southwest corner of Daemonheim, right next to the entrance to the wilderness. All you have to do here is simply walk past the guards. So, walk past them, and as soon as you do, and that'll be your first task complete. Head back in to get out of the wildy, and at this point you want to teleport with your ring to Daemonheim. So if you haven't already, now is a good time to go ahead and bank all of your gear, which is what I will be doing now. And as soon as you've banked it all, make sure you have your ring with you. Go ahead and reset it, as that is actually a task in itself. So you want to reset your ring, your progress. So go ahead and do that, and there's another task complete. So now that you've done that, the next thing we need to do is form a party and go ahead and set the floor to any abandoned floor. The earliest one is 13, and you have to do this one solo to get all the achievements, and you want it on complexity level 6. So as long as you're on your own and you're doing an abandoned floor and your complexity is level 6, you are ready to enter. So, as soon as you're ready, jump into the dungeon itself. So, once you're in, if there's a key, go ahead and grab it. But, other than that, first things first, upon entry, you want to check your bind setup, and you want to equip a different bind set, or loadout. Do that, simply right-click on the trader, go to their bind setup, and click the little arrows on the right hand side, and that'll switch your loadout to something else entirely. As soon as you've done that, that is another task complete. So you might want to switch back to your normal dungeoneering set at this point, as you do actually need to complete a few dungeons. But as soon as you're ready, go ahead and pick up every single item within this starting room. We're actually going to be selling all of it, as we don't actually need any of it, and we need the cash for the next task. So hopefully you luck out and you get a bunch of costly things. If not, you can always go around, kill stuff, and bring their stuff to sell later. Either way, go ahead and trade the trader everything you have. Go ahead and sell it all. At this point, you now want to buy roughly 15 Novite ore. Go ahead and smelt all of the Novite into bars. And once they are all bars, we can move on to the next step. So, now that they're all bars, we now need to make a full set of Novite armor. So, you want one plate body, one set of plate legs, you want one full helm, and you also want a pair of gauntlets and a pair of boots. As soon as you've done that, that'll be a task complete. Go ahead and equip that full set of Novite you just made, and that will be another task complete. You might want to re-equip whatever binds you normally have on at this point, as we're going to be doing the dungeon now. So carry on through the dungeon and hopefully come across some divine energy or vibrant energy, any kind of energy in there at all, as long as it's level tier 2 or higher. It must be tier 2 or higher energy you are siphoning. As soon as you've got some memories, head over to the rift and exchange them, well, turn them into energy. And as soon as you've turned your tier 2 plus memories into energy, that is another task complete. So all in all, that is pretty much it. If you still need cash to buy the Novite, then I do recommend picking up the cash piles that the enemies drop. Other than that, it's time to pretty much just complete this dungeon, so... There is a task as well that you need to complete a dungeon without dying, so hopefully you do the same on this floor as I do, and you don't die. So all you simply have to do is complete this floor now, and not die. Simple as that. I'm going to speed this up because, well, it's a dungeon and I'm sure you're busy concentrating on your own dungeon at this point, so yeah. Skip ahead about a minute and you should be pretty close to the end of this dungeon I'm on. And we'll carry on from there. So, there we go then. That is the dungeon complete. And as soon as you've completed it, you'll gain 1 for completing one solo, 1 for completing abandoned, and 1 for completing it without dying. Yeah, quite a few achievements for finishing that. Right, moving on to the next one then. You want to make a team once again, and we'd go in solo again for this one. This time you need to do floor 1. And you'll also want it on 6 complexity. As soon as you are ready, jump inside. Alright, so the goal for this one is basically to make enough money to be able to buy any resources we need to make a offense summon, as well as killing the boss solo. Basically, you need to summon an attacking familiar, and it needs to be able to hit the boss. And as soon as it's done that, you can finish the dungeon, and that is another 2 tasks complete. So go ahead and sell everything in the first room, just like the last time. This will make you quite a fair chunk of cash, and probably enough to actually do whatever you need to do later on. But still, I would recommend picking up the cash piles as you're going around killing all the enemies and doing the dungeon yourself though. So first off, before we leave, buy some kind of wood and light it on fire, make yourself a little campfire. Then unequip your ring of kinship and use it on the fire. As soon as you do, there will be a bunch of text coming up. Just go ahead and wait a little bit, and then you'll get a task complete for using your ring of kinship on the fire. Right, so there's one thing, well, 2 things in particular to pay attention to is while you're going around killing everything, Make sure you pick up every single charm there is available, as well as any torn bags. The second thing is make sure you grab all of their cash, as if you don't have the right ingredients, then hopefully you'll have the cash to buy what you need. Obviously what you're going to summon is going to be entirely dependent on your summoning level, so I can't give you a perfect answer, but a Blood Rager is pretty good at actually dealing damage to the boss. So, carry on through the dungeon, same as normal, only look out for gold and charms. Those are the two things you need at this moment. So here we go, finally got some charms. So once you've found yourself a fair chunk of cash and you've finally got some charms in a drop, you want to head back to the central chamber and we will make ourselves a familiar. So head into the center room where you started and use the obelisk in the center of the room. At the top left you can change this little drop down box, put it onto Blood Rager, and you want to look through all of these for the level requirements of summoning, as well as the ingredients and type of charm for each. And build any of them, preferably the highest level one you can, with the charms in your hand. So for me, I need to buy some Zephyrium ore. Hopefully you've got the cash to buy these, or you can mine them or find them within the dungeon itself. If you can't get the highest level one, then simply do whichever one you can, as long as it's a Blood Rager. Either way, it might just take a tiny bit longer when it comes to fighting the boss. So now that you have your summon in hand, go ahead and get to the boss room of this dungeon. All you need to do now is get to the boss. As soon as you enter the boss room, I highly recommend unequipping your weapon and just punching the boss in the face. At the same time, summon your familiar and tell it to attack the boss. As soon as your familiar has successfully attacked the boss, as in a hit splat has actually come up that dealt damage to the boss from your familiar, that will be a task complete. The only other thing left to do then is complete this dungeon, and as soon as you do, that'll be another task complete. So I'll see you at the boss room. So now that you're at the boss room, go ahead and unequip your weapon and summon your familiar. Next, you want to tell your familiar to attack the boss. And now you just need to wait until your familiar successfully hits the boss, like so, and that is a task complete. As soon as that task is done, go ahead and re-equip your weapon and finish off the boss. Nice and easy. So there we go. As soon as the boss is down, go ahead and finish this dungeon. Go ahead and leave. And that is your another task done. So at this point, you now want to recruit the help of a friend or a random stranger. So once you've found your friend or stranger, go ahead and invite them into a party. And you can go ahead and do whichever floor you want for this. Personally, I'm doing floor 2 at 1 complexity. So once you're inside, first off you want to grab the food in the first room. And your friend needs to unequip and re-equip all their armor. The reason for this is when they unequip it, their health will go down, and when they re-equip it, they'll be missing about half their health, give or take. As soon as they've done this, you can then use your food on them to heal them, and as soon as you do, that is another task complete. So simply use your food to heal a partner throughout your dungeon. And that is it, task done. So for the rest of this, you just simply need to complete the dungeon with your friend. Very easy, they need to stay in the party with you and you need to finish this dungeon together. So I'm going to fast forward this bit and I'll catch you when I'm done. So there we go. As soon as you successfully complete that dungeon with your friend, that is another task complete. At this point there is only 2 more tasks to complete, and both of them are relatively long and fairly simple. So you want to come just south of Daemonheim itself, to where the Token Fella and Skaldron is. The one task left is to complete 1 sinkhole's game. Very straightforward, you can come to this Telsar at about 5-2 at any hour, and go ahead and ask him to teleport you to the sinkhole, and then simply play the game. The other one is you need to complete a unabridged version of any of the Fremennik sagas. Doesn't matter which one, as long as you finally complete one of the unabridged. Once those 2 are done, that is your easy task set complete. I'm not going to go through them as they both take absolutely ages and they're very straightforward. So those are the only 2 more tasks left. So that is it, people. Very, very simple, and congratulations on completing the Daemonheim easy tasks. Until next time, I will catch you all later. Medium task coming up next.